Howdy, folks! How are y'all doing? My name's Rees. Welcome back to the Tekkit 2 Let's Play Adventure, where today we're going to be taking another stab at nukes, because I've gotten some great comments and feedbacks on the nukes from the last time, that I felt like it was probably an appropriate time to go back and address that subject, and see if we couldn't figure out what materials are nuke-proof again, but this time without having these soft crashes. So, I did get a comment from someone by the name of Jean. Listen, I can't pronounce this name, certainly not the last name, but the comment suggests that maybe some of the blocks that we were testing are incompatible with the nuke. They didn't know what to do, and the game broke itself trying to calculate uncalculatable logic. Basically was my understanding of their explanation, and that makes sense. They, as well as someone else, also pointed out that the doors that you can build from Industrial Craft 2 Classic probably don't open and close too quickly. It was probably the button we were using. The little black Illumar buttons probably actuate too quickly, and that's probably the case, yes. I think if we had used regular buttons, or maybe a lever just to hold it open, it would have been fine, and in fact, depending on the results of today's nuclear test, we might go replace those doors, because I have a sneaking suspicion that the problem was with the reinforced, what are they called? Ah, yes, the framed pieces. I think the framed blocks were the problems. And keep in mind, we're using reinforced framed doors down below. Now, is that really a bad thing? I mean, if we think about it for a moment, and we'll travel down here, if our nuclear reactor explodes, like the one at the end of the last episode, and these beautiful framed doors glitch out and prevent the explosion from taking place, giving me time to exit the game and log back in before the moment of the explosion. Is that actually a bad thing? Well, yes, because it feels like cheating. But we're going to be testing that today, but not here. Heaven help me. If things go wrong, the last thing I want to do is corrupt this world. I've put too many hours in. I'm going to call this one Nuke World, and we're going to set it to creative. And then for the seed, we're going to use Nuke. That seems appropriate. See what we get out of this. I feel like the beginning of this episode, I was not speaking normally. Normally what I will do is especially, like I'll tell you right now, it's early in the morning. Normally what I'll do is I'll start the episode off, and I will do an intro, especially if it's early morning, and I'll realize, ooh, that was rough. And I'll immediately redo it. And then today I was like, nah, I'm powering through. We can do it. We can get through this. We can turn this around, and have a feeling that when I edit this, I'm going to listen to the beginning of this episode and be like, oh. Now, would you look at this? Immediately, would you look at this? This is what you expect to find when you find a volcano. This is, if we had started in this world, my base would be inside of this volcano. Can you imagine how different it would be? It's incredible to think how differently the trajectory of an entire series can go if it is, like, depending on where you start in the world. Like, if we started here and I saw that volcano, we would be inside of a volcano. We would have a volcano base, and then maybe this island here I might have taken over. I love the idea of having a little island that we have completely sequestered and all to ourselves. This is cool. We got like a big mainland here, and then a little archipelago of islands surrounding it. Kind of a swamp down here. Alright, you know what? Strongly recommended. If you're looking for a world seed to use, try Nuke. We'll use a gold button. Because why not? Sounds like a good time. Can we stand, like, on it? Nothing's gonna happen. We're in creative. So there's no real advantage to this. I wonder if there's a way to make it explode faster or instantaneously. There probably is. There's probably a device for that. And there it goes. Hey! Okay, yeah, so there was a little bit of a delay, but it did go. I wish you could hear my computer right now. It is freaking out. It has gone full speed. So, I don't have the most powerful computer you can have. I've got a pretty decent one. I have a 5800X CPU and a 6900 XT GPU. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. By the time you watch this in the year 2023, obviously there will be better CPUs and GPUs available, but for what it is, it's pretty solid. And geez, that was like a reckoning Look at this place. So we've got that crater over there, and we're pretty much going to do the same thing again, but this time we're going to test with the Obsidian, once I spell it correctly. Now, I know that Obsidian will not contain the blast, and I'm pretty confident that Obsidian is not going to be the object that causes the game to crash. But I want to see how good a job it does of, even though I know it won't stop the blast, like, how well can it contain it? So if the nuke is there, we want to have 2 wide. Actually, you know what? Let's go 1 wide, and we'll see where that gets us. These are the experiments we should have been doing in the first place. I don't know why we needed to do this in the actual world the first time I tested all of these things. Those chickens are going to be the first things to go. That's how we'll know when the nuke has gone off. Before anything else in the world happens, those chickens are going to explode into egg and feather. There they are. Alright, there we go. So the nuke is going off. There goes the computer's ramping up again. It's like, why have you done this? I cannot compute! Hello? Did that crash it? Is it because I was flying? That can't be the reason. This is taking so much longer than last time. This is the same thing that happened in the Nether. We set off 1 nuke, and it was fine, and then every nuke we set off afterward... What? Is Obsidian the problem? What the heck? Yep, okay, we've got a soft crash. What we're going to do now... we're gonna see where we end up first off. It should be right before that explosion, yeah. So... I don't understand. This is not the result I expected. If I break all of that, if we just put down a nuke, and we set it off, right? What happens? Just patiently waiting. There it goes. Computer's ramping up. Big explosion sound. Everything's fine, right? It worked. Okay. And apparently I've made the achievement the Stone Age. Congratulations me. If I put that nuke, maybe it's because we're sealing it in? That doesn't make sense either. If I put it on a platform of Obsidian and do it, then what happens? Is it literally just... I was fully on board with this theory of it being one of the blocks we were using, and I was actually extremely confident that I knew which block it was going to end up being. It being Obsidian seems so unlikely, because that is a base object in the world of Minecraft. No nuke sound. I think it's crashed. Oh no! It's crashed! Are you kidding me? Alright. We're back in the pit. I am so confused and perplexed. But I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of Obsidian and we're going to go to the reinforced... I'll tell you what, we're going to start off with reinforced stone and reinforced glass. We're going to see where that gets us. We're going to go to the top of this hill, and, I mean, first off, let's just put some of this stuff underneath the nuke and see if its mere presence is enough to cause the nuke some sort of freak out. I imagine it won't be. These are from the same mod, right? Both of these are from Industrial Craft Classic, so I don't expect there to be any sort of confusion between the two of them. I think this ought to just work. Okay, explosion, then we wait for the sound. There it is. And there we go. Just kind of waiting for the world to load in. Wow. That was a big one. I wonder if doing it higher at a higher elevation leads to a bigger explosion radius. It feels like each one of these has gotten larger. And I think I've moved up in elevation with each one. So now it's time to find out whether or not encasing it inside of this material causes the bomb not to explode. See, these are the scientific experiments we should have been doing the last time that I just didn't do because I was so perplexed and confused by the fact that it was just constantly crashing. So, golden button, one last piece. We'll kind of take a step back here. One wall thick I don't expect will contain the explosion, but maybe it'll limit it, or maybe it'll crash the game. Let's stand close so we can make sure that we definitely hear the sound of the explosion. Actually, you know what? Let me hold on to both of these block types. Maybe we'll do double here in a second to see what the difference is. And there it goes. And wow! Yeah, that did limit it. Quite a bit. I mean, it's not perfect, but... What is this shape? Oh, I love that. It's funky. Okay. This is cool. I love little caves like this. This reminds me, I mean, this is almost exactly like my very first Minecraft world, way back in Minecraft alpha days. So pre-beta even, where I had this little mountain and I lived in this little nook and I made this terrible dirt wall around my land and I was so proud and so happy with it. Gosh, I gotta find that world. I know I still have it. So, let's do double thick this time. So we will set this one off, and we will... Okay, so it's got double thick now, everything. And I made the walls out of glass. By the way, big shout out to everyone who pointed out that the reason I was missing armor the last time we tested this is because I took off my chest plate and my leggings in order to put on the hazmat suit. So it killed those animals over there. They're dead, but not those sheep. Those sheep are fine. Huh. Wow. So I guess if our nuclear reactor goes off, and yeah, based on our experiments, it definitely seemed like the nuclear reactor that we set off in that village in the last episode, or episode before last, whichever, it definitely had a very similar explosive capability to one of these nukes. It had a similar sized crater. So I would expect that, you know, because this is basically what we did. We did double thick reinforced glass. If our nuclear reactor goes off, our house should be safe. Unless apparently there's any obsidian nearby. We get back to daylight. There we go. And we will test the reinforced... I'm going to go ahead and grab the framed blocks. We're not going to do those yet. I kind of wanted to do the reinforced concrete that we tried before from Railcraft. And let's do a fun color. There's so many different options. Actually, let's just go with the basic one. Let's not complicate things. We're going to do a basic little housing here, and this is partly to see whether or not it can destroy this stuff, but then also to see whether or not this stuff causes it to crash. So, I'm starting to think it was just the obsidian, which is weird! That's a vanilla Minecraft block! Why would that... I don't get it. And before you say you just gotta be patient and wait it out, I did. Remember, I left it running... Oh. I mean, I can't say that reinforced concrete did nothing, but it looks like reinforced concrete did nothing. I was going to look at this here and say, well, it kind of is a smaller blast. It didn't go quite so far that direction. I think that's just because of the volume of stone that insulated the explosion. All the rest of this got pretty obliterated. This is looking like my Tekkit Legends base now, at the end of the series. Oof. Zoom over here to this sort of picturesque field. Oh, those are some really cool mountains over there. Alright, we are going to now test using the reinforced framed blocks. And we will create a cocoon of them. I don't expect now that these are going to cause any problems. I'm fully on Obsidian's the problem. Like, whatever camp that is the camp that I am a part of. Oh, hold on. Did we... Wait, what? I'm confused. Oh! Oh! It's going in... I see the issue here. I see the issue here. Okay, so we were actually placing the nuke inside of that block down there. I was... I think we did that before as well. Okay, there we go. I don't expect this to stop any explosion, though. I expect this to still blow up. And that makes me wonder if whether or not our reactor explodes. If the double thick glass stops it, will it explode out of my reinforced door in like a straight line? And just, because that is basically going straight into the center of that room. Wait a minute. Oh, no, yep, that did basically nothing to stop it. Although, the blocks themselves are fine. The reinforced blocks are perfectly fine. They're okay. Nothing around them is. That's good to know. So I'm now going to build more or less a simulation of the reactor that is underneath my house by using bedrock and reinforced glass to simulate. Because remember, my house is one layer of reinforced stone underneath the reactor, but then immediately under that is bedrock. So kind of trying to simulate that here. And then we have double layer on all the sides and the top. I did sort of an egg shape on the top, meaning that actually in some spots it's triple layer, I believe, but this will be a fine enough representation of that. So then on the inside, we're going to have this, that, and then there's two doors. Oh. So we're going to see what happens here. I'm wondering if it's going to push an explosion out in that direction. We'll just wait and see. Those poor horses, they have no idea what's coming. Heaven help them. Okay, well, everything is dead. And there's the explosion. Wow! That's what I expected. I didn't think it would go so far, though. It's almost like it calculated all of the force that wasn't escaping through the sides and multiplied it out the front. But the doors are okay. Alright, we're back. It's been several hours. Right after doing that test, during that test, got a call from my brother, and then I answered it. And he was letting me know that he'd driven by my house. He wanted to know where my cat Thomas was. And I said, oh, well, I just let him out. And he's like, I think somebody hit Thomas. So I went outside, and yeah, Thomas has passed away. It's been several hours. I've already gotten him, buried him, did all of that. And went to get waffle fries at Chick-fil-A because I was bummed out. But we're back now. And let's look at the devastation. Yeah, that did kind of what I expected it to do. It looks like it focused the explosion directly ahead. So focused, in fact, that all of this over here is fine. These houses are fine. Thing over there is fine. Even though the glass on the sides did get blown out, it doesn't really look like the explosion traveled far at all. In fact, this is probably the limit right here. And then as it went, it got wider. So that's what's going to happen at our base if we are not careful. Okay, we're going to do a test with the reinforced doors going in the other direction to see if that holds up any better. There we go. That did open that door for a second, but I think it's fine. And that's reinforced stone. It's the same as the glass, though. It has the same blast resistance. So that was an accident. I meant to put glass back on top, but I got slightly nervous because it was already flashing. And I realized I needed to put it down quick. There we go. Took a second, and it looks like, well, it definitely contained it slightly better. Or did it? I don't know. It blew all the way up till here. I don't think that really the doors made all that much difference. I think that looking at it, I guess if we look at the map, yeah. So where am I at on this? Let me fly over the top of this thing. And if we look at it, so here's the center, and it looks like this one blew up to here, this one blew up to here. This one looks worse, but that might have been because there was already kind of lessen the way to block the explosion or something like that. I don't think the door type matters. And then, just because it could be funny, what does 4 nukes do? Let's all find out together. It makes the computer get loud, I can tell you that so far. Oh, there's the explosion noise. Oh gosh, normally when you hear the explosion there goes another one. Wait a minute, is it gonna play all 4 of them separately, slowly? They should have all gone off there goes the 3rd one, at basically the same time there. So I would expect the 4th one. Now. There it is, okay. Not spot on. Usually it's right after you hear the sound, though. You start to see the world. The damage of the world appear. We're not seeing it yet. Oh, geez. What have we done? I wonder if we've soft-locked it. We might have experienced another soft crash. I gotta know about the Obsidian, though. I don't get that. I don't know why the Obsidian causes the issues it causes. I'm going to fly straight up. I'm gonna park myself as best as I can over that square. And then we're just gonna wait. Oh my gosh. I mean, it took a while, but it's going. Oh! Oh, it went further than I expected. Wowzers. Oh my gosh. First off, this looks really cool. This is a really interesting angle. It almost looks like those trees over there are on their side. Am I leaving the planet? Am I going into space now? Is that what's happening? I don't think we can go in space in creative mode. I think we need a rocket. Actually, that's not how this works. That would be ridiculous if it was. The planet is gone. Let's head back down. Oh, it's so smooth. That's nuts. Let's look at the map. Wow. Yeah. If we continue to scroll down, I believe this was our first nuclear test. Then we have progressively weirder looking ones. And then we just get to this. I mean, that went all the way to bedrock. And we were on top of a volcano when we started. Jeez. So I guess the conclusion for today is if this thing blows, everything in that direction's going to be in serious trouble, but otherwise should be fine. And we can always make this thicker if we want to. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there and go continue mourning and grieving the loss of the best cat I've ever had. I started this morning, I got up and I made myself something to drink and I fed him and I pet him, and then I was headed back here to record this video. I was like, you want to come with me? And he ran to the door and just started meowing, so I let him outside, and then it was 30 minutes later I got a call from my brother, so that is unfortunate. But thank you folks for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.